Hi, I'm Michael Fagan, the fitness guru. This is A Healthy Pause. One of my guilty little pleasures in life as a fitness professional is to hear the cocktail party throwdown between members of different exercise trends. You have the CrossFit people going at it with the P90X people. It can start to get a little shaky. You throw in a little neo-postmodern spinning and some Bikram yoga, and you can really have a war of words. For the most part, I think this is a fantastic thing because it means that people are getting really passionate about the exercises that they do. They get really into one particular school of thinking and they want to follow that. It goes a lot further than flat stomachs and toned arms, and that I think is fantastic. So when I read an article in the New York Times a couple of weeks ago about the best exercise, I honestly thought that the author was trying to bait a group of really well-educated, opinionated exercise enthusiasts. So what did the New York Times think was the best exercise? Well, they gave us a whole list. They started with the butterfly stroke in swimming. Butterfly stroke is that wonderful big stroke where the arms are coming up overhead, and it's fantastic. It uses the whole body. You're really taking advantage of a great cardiovascular exercise, a lot of different muscle groups. Problem is that most people don't know how to do the butterfly properly. And so in order to get something out of the butterfly, you're going to need a coach there to tell you how to do it properly. You're going to need a pool. And you're also going to need a certain degree of flexibility and strength in order to accomplish it. So best exercise? Probably not. Squats was another exercise that they came up with, which is great because you're working large muscle groups. You're working the legs, you're working the glutes, you're working the back. But again, you're working large muscle groups, you're not really working everything, doesn't really get into cardiovascular exercise. So you go back to cardiovascular, you have the burpee. Now, if you've ever taken a boot camp class or you've had a trainer who's a little more charged, you probably know what the burpee is. Old school, they called it squat thrusts. Wonderful cardiovascular exercises, uses a lot of different muscle groups. Problem is it's very repetitive. So in other words, you're just doing the same action over and over again, and most likely it's so intense and so repetitive that it's not the kind of thing that you're going to want to do over and over again. So we move burpee off the list. Walking. Now, I'm a huge fan of walking. I think everybody should walk more. I think we spend way too much time in front of the computer, on the cell phone, texting. We really don't move around anymore. Walking is fantastic. I think that most people need about 12,000 steps in their day. That's in order to maintain a healthy weight. And if you're just starting an exercise program, walking is a great way to get started. But even at its most intense, speed walking up hills, if you're a regular exerciser, it's probably not going to be enough to really challenge you. So again, walking gets pushed to the side. Then they came up with one of my favorites, which is high intensity interval training, HIIT. HIIT training is where you work really intensely for a short period of time, and then you rest for a bit, and then really intensely, and then rest a bit. I love doing this with a form of training called Tabata. It's named after the Japanese researcher who did the study, where you work really, really hard for 20 seconds and then you relax for 10. Really hard and then relax for 10. You do this for 4 minutes. At the end of 4 minutes, you are spent because in high intensity interval training, you are working at 110% for the whole time that you're working. Those 10-second rests are rests, but those 20 seconds are intense. It's fantastic, and you can do this with running, you can do it with stair climbing, you can do it with plyometric exercises. So the variation is fantastic. It allows for a great deal of creativity, but it's really intense. And so if you're just starting out, that's not necessarily the best thing. So again, we're lost. What's the best exercise? Well, I have an issue with best exercise to begin with because I think that the author of the article is playing into this idea that we all have, that there's some silver bullet out there, some magical little exercise that we can do and we can do regularly, and that little magic silver bullet is going to solve all our problems. So the answer is that you want to have the silver bullet. And you want to know what the silver bullet is? There's no silver bullet. There's no silver bullet. The very best exercise is the exercise that you're going to do regularly. I know, you're hemming, you're hawing, you're reaching for the stop button. Hold on a second. The fact of the matter is, whatever exercise you do, if you do it regularly, you're not only going to feel physically a whole lot better and a whole lot healthier, but psychologically you're going to feel fantastic because you're actually engaged in something that you love. So when you go to those cocktail parties and you see those people who are so charged about their exercise way of life, it's because they've found this philosophy that really works for them, not just physically, but emotionally. And it keeps building up in them. It keeps building this wonderful storehouse of good energy. And that good energy, that positive emotion, is part of a healthy lifestyle. So the grander scheme of things, hey, burpees, butterfly, walk, high-intensity interval training, try them all. It's fantastic. Try what your neighbor loves. Maybe they're right. Maybe it'll be good for you. But keep trying until you find something that you love. That's your silver bullet. Loving the exercise itself. That's the best exercise. If you have a best exercise you want to share with me, shoot me an email at michael@fitnessgurunyc.com. I'm Michael Fagan, the Fitness Guru. This has been A Healthy Pause. Come back and join us again soon.